you're craving barbecue or you're craving ribs, you're probably thinking of a couple things. One, you're thinking of those wet naps because you know your hands are going to be a sticky, sticky mess. And at some point, mom's going to call and you just got to get your hands clean and answer the phone for her. The other one is, what are you going to have with it? Cornbread, you're going to have macaroni and cheese and some greens or whatever. But if it's not your typical barbecue ribs, like the ones we're going to make tonight, then your sides might not be quite the same and traditional. We're going to make Korean glazed barbecue ribs. And for the side, we're going to do a kind of macaroni and cheese, but it's going to be a Korean macaroni and cheese. We're going to add kimchi, some ground sirloin to it. We'll get to that. But first, we're going to get to the sauce we're going to make. First, we're going to get started with the ingredients here. About a half cup of the gochujang. And then just a little bit of each of these. Pretty short ingredient list here. A little bit of salt. And a little bit of brown sugar. Gotta have that sweet and sticky. Alright, we're just gonna whisk this up, and this glaze you can put on it on the ribs, put it on chicken, just enjoy. I'll post the recipe for it too, it's pretty simple as you can see right here. 1, 2, 3, 7 ingredients, 6 ingredients. There we go. There's a glaze. Now, we're going to take half of our glaze, and we're going to put it on the ribs, and let the ribs soak in the refrigerator for a few hours. We'll get it started here. Make sure you spill some on the countertop as well. You can't have barbecue ribs and have anything stay neat and clean, including this clean shirt that I have on. All right, we'll get a little brush going here. You can also toss these in a bowl. Again, you just want to make sure that you only use half of the glaze because the other half of the glaze is going to be used when we're cooking the ribs. And these ribs are going to get cooked in the oven as opposed to thrown on the grill. Now, look, if you've made ribs before, you know there's different ways to do everything. You got a smoker or a grill and you want to put your ribs in, that way you can do the same thing. The key that I'm showing you here isn't really the technique of making ribs. It's the really, really tasty glaze that we're putting on there. So if you wanted to do your 3-2-1 method of your ribs in the smoker and use this as your glaze that you put on in the last half hour, then you can go do that as well. But we're actually going to cook these in the oven, and you'll see how good they come out. I've done this before, and very exciting. So we're going to let these sit about 4 hours in the fridge, and we'll get to them, move on to our next steps. All right, the ribs sat in the fridge for about 4 hours. They've been sitting out for a little bit. You just want to bring them up, not quite to room temperature, but you want to get them away from that 40-degree refrigerator temperature because the colder they are, the longer they take to cook in the oven. So you want to bring them up a little bit more so they cook more to your targeted time. We're going to get those in the oven and get moving on our macaroni and cheese. Not your everyday macaroni and cheese. We're going to cook the pasta, cook some ground sirloin, and throw some broccoli in with the pasta. And then we're going to saute some garlic with some chopped up kimchi, and then move that all together. Throw some mirin and some gochujang in there, more gochujang, which is on the ribs as well in the glaze we put on there. Get some flour and milk and cheese in there, and then put it all together and get that in the oven as well. So we've got a feast coming up. See you in a few. Over here we've got our water getting boiled for the pasta. Some ground sirloin here that we're frying up. Gonna drain this as just browned. We're gonna drain this, season it up a little bit, set it aside. And then we're going to saute up the garlic and the kimchi and get all the sauce rolling that's gonna go in. Then we're gonna bring the cheese and the pasta with broccoli, I'm sorry, the beef and the pasta with broccoli all back together. So I'll see you in a few minutes. All right, the ribs are in the oven for their last half-hour stint. We'll throw some more of that tasty glaze on them when they have about 10 minutes left. The pasta for the macaroni and cheese is done. The broccoli is in there. The beef is done. We've got garlic we're going to saute up here. Then we're going to put the kimchi in here. We got a few more ingredients to add to that. And then we're going to mix this nice little concoction here. What's in here? There's apple cider vinegar, water, cashews, roasted garlic, tomato paste, paprika, probably something else in there, but I'll post a recipe for this and you can see everything that's in here. So then once we get the garlic moving a little bit, throw the kimchi in here, the gochujang and the mirin will go in, and then some flour, and then some milk. We'll bring this together, some cheese, then the beef, then the pasta, then the broccoli, top it all off with cheese and throw it in the oven for 20 minutes. This is going to be all right. The one thing that I'm wondering is how all of this is going to fit into one 13x9 casserole dish, but it's going to be interesting. I'll catch you back in a few when we're a little further along. All right, we've been simmering for a little while over here. Last time you saw us, we had the kimchi in here. We put in the mirin and the gochujang, a little bit of flour, some milk. Now we're going to put this magic blended mixture in that I mentioned before. Gonna get all that goodness out of there, some nice spices in there. Now we're gonna mix this, incorporate it, turn the heat up a little bit. We want to bring this to a boil and simmer it down. The next step we're gonna do after this, after we get this fully incorporated and boiling, is we're gonna mix the beef in here. And then after that, we're gonna mix it in with the macaroni and the broccoli. All right, this is just going to come to a boil. It's going to simmer for about 5 minutes. Then, like I said, we'll put the beef in here, and then we'll bring it all together, mix it all together, put it in our baking dish, and throw it in the oven. All right, finishing touches. Got the milk in here, the cheese. I tasted it. It tasted good. Need a little salt, but that's quite the cheese sauce we've got there. We're gonna put, I don't know why I'm making decisions like this, but I'm doing it. We're gonna put all this in here for some strange reason, because I don't want to mix it up in the casserole dish. And since there's such a big pan, I'm gonna ladle it right into here, mix it all up. I can use a spatula to make sure we clean it all out. I know you're wondering, and so am I, how is this all going to get in that baking dish over there? I don't know. But I want to be in the baking dish with all of this. Definitely need a spatula to get all of this off of here, because every bite of this is absolutely tasty. Okay. It's a little stronger than that. Oh yeah, this is all right. got a nice spice to it too. I tasted it because of the kimchi and the gochujang. Definitely a really nice flavor profile. Okay, I think, you know, as per usual, I think we're in better shape than I thought we'd be. So, there's not too much butter on the baking dish. Alexa, stop. That means ribs are done. Well, kind of. I kept it glazed down for the last 15 minutes, which is going to be perfect timing because that's all this is going to need for the cheese to melt. Okay. Even this out here a little bit. We're not putting cheddar on the top because we like cheese. We're just putting it on the top so we know that the timer's done. So when the cheddar is melted, then you can take it out. Definitely not because we want more cheese on top. And some panko for good measure. These guys are ready for the final brushing. Be as neat as you can. That's key to this process. There. 15 minutes for these guys. It's game time. See you in a few. All right, just pull the ribs out. It's time to get the macaroni and cheese out. I've already turned the oven off, so we've got rid of that noise complaint. That's gonna be a problem. I'll tell you, good thing I put whole wheat panko on here because that makes it much less calories than it would have been. All right, let's get this on a plate and see how good it is. What's better than a nice plate of ribs and macaroni and cheese? Both on the spicy side for sure. It's gonna be really good and really messy. I should have brought the wet nabs, but now I'm gonna get to town.